Lipton makes over $3 billion every single year from tea bags. Here's what nobody tells you. A huge portion of the raw herbs inside those bags come from African soil. Africa grows them, Africa harvests them, and then ships them out as cheap unbranded bulk, so someone else can box them up and sell them back to the world at 50 to 100 times the price. That gap between a raw herb worth 50 cents and a packaged box selling for $10 is not a tragedy. That is the business. My name is Tim. I'm the leader of the Wealth team. On this channel, we're on a mission to raise thousands of African millionaires. Subscribe and be a part of this journey and have the chance of being among the thousands. Today, I'm going to show you 12 teas growing right now in African soil that you can process, package, and sell exactly like Lipton does. Most of them with under $500 in startup capital. Let's begin with tea number 1, Moringa. They call Moringa the miracle tree, and once you understand the business behind it, you will see exactly why that name fits. The global Moringa market is projected to reach $10 billion by 2028. Africa holds a near monopoly on where it grows. The tree thrives in poor soil, needs almost no water, grows back after every single harvest. Every part of it, the leaves, the seeds, the pods, is sellable. In Zambia, a woman named Priska Shishala, with nothing more than a backyard moringa garden and a small drying setup, she built the Moringa Initiative, now supplying packaged moringa tea to Spar and Pick and Pay supermarkets and exporting internationally. No laboratory, no factory, just a farm, a dryer, and a branded box. In Kenya, Melvin Tea lists Moringa as one of their flagship packaged products, available in supermarkets across East Africa. The processing could not be simpler. Harvest the leaves, dry them slowly, in the sun or with low-cost food dryer, grind or cut them, fill standard tea bags, seal them, box them up with a wellness story on the back. Raw Moringa typically costs 50 cents per package. Branded box of 20 tea bags can cost $5 to $10. That is up to 100 times the raw material value. The plant does the work. Packaging creates the value. Now let's go to tea number 2, hibiscus. Known as Zobo in Nigeria and Bissap in Senegal, this one already has the number to prove what packaging does. Nigeria alone exported over $19 million worth of hibiscus in 2023. Nearly all of it as raw unbranded dried flowers. In Senegal, an entrepreneur named Adjacent Benefol built a premium tea brand called Contana, starting with just $200. She packaged hibiscus into tea bags, designed a clean brand identity, and began landing customers in Europe and North America. $200. That was the entire startup capital. Here's why hibiscus is especially powerful as a packaged product. The deep ruby color it brews, it photographs beautifully. In a world where health products are sold on Instagram and e-commerce, a product that looks this good is already halfway on the sale. A 20-bag box of organic hibiscus tea retails for $8 to $15 in health stores globally. The raw petals to fill that box costs less than 30 cents. Let's go to tea number 3, ginger. And before you think everyone sells ginger tea, hear me out. Ginger is the most universally consumed herbal tea on the planet. Every pharmacy, every health store, every 5-star hotel room from Lagos to London. And yet across West Africa, enormous quantity of ginger are still sold raw at local markets for cents per kilogram. No processing, no packaging, no brand attached. Melvin Tea in Kenya packaged a tangawizi blend. Tangawizi is the Swahili word for ginger, and it is one of their most consistent best-selling products. A ginger moringa blend, a ginger turmeric blend. Each combination is a separate product and a separate revenue stream, all from one crop. A branded 20-bag ginger lemon blend sells on Amazon for $6 to $12. Here's the processing. You wash, slice, thin, sun-dry or food dry, and then fill your bags. One crop, multiple blends, multiple market. That is how to build a tea brand. Lipton has different varieties. If you know of any, drop it in the comments as we go to tea number 4, lemongrass. This one has a quality that sets it apart from almost everything else on this list. It practically grows itself. Lemongrass thrives in poor soil, handles drought, and grows back after every single cut. Farmers who plant it once have a raw material supply for years without replanting. The ongoing cost of crop is close to zero. Mrs. Funke Ayola, a smallholder herb farmer in Oyo State, Nigeria, said something I have not been able to stop thinking about since I read it. We grow lemongrass and hibiscus in abundance, but most of it sold raw at local markets. If we had the right drying and packaging facilities, we could export directly and earn even more. She's describing a business that costs less to start than a second-hand motorcycle. Dried lemongrass cuts pack cleanly into standard tea bags and produce a fresh citrusy infusion that the global wellness market loves. Market it as a daily detox tea. Let's go to tea number 5, cinnamon tea. Madagascar is one of the world's top producers of cinnamon. Tanzania and Ethiopia are not far behind. And yet almost all of Africa's cinnamon leaves the continent as raw bark. No packaging, no brand, no story. Raw cinnamon bark sells for $2 per kg. Branded premium box of 20 cinnamon tea bags cost $15 to $25. Now let's go to the Melvin tea again in Kenya. They're already packaging a cinnamon masala blend, and it is a consistent seller. But here's the larger picture that makes cinnamon even more exciting. Cinnamon is a blending superpower. Cinnamon ginger, cinnamon turmeric, cinnamon moringa, cinnamon hibiscus. Each of these positions as a functional wellness tea, and functional teas are the fastest growing segment in the entire global tea market. Let me give you some numbers. It is estimated that by 2033, functional tea markets will hit $8.71 billion. It is growing at 12.2% every single year. When you package cinnamon from African soil into a premium wellness blend, you are not competing with Lipton. You are entering a premium category that Lipton barely touches. Now let's go to tea number 6, which is less popular, Soursop leaf tea. This one has something that money cannot buy, a viral demand engine that is already running without any help from you. Go to Google right now and search Soursop tea benefit. Millions of searches, health bloggers, wellness influencers with hundreds of thousands of followers, YouTube videos with millions of views. Every single one asking, where can I find authentic African Soursop leaf tea? The market is already pulling. The demand exists today. What is missing is packaged supply from African producers. The Soursop tree grows wild and abundantly across West Africa, in countries like Nigeria, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire and Cameroon. The DRC is not left behind. The leaves are large, flat and dry beautifully on a simple rack. They pack cleanly into standard tea bags with no grinding or special equipment. A branded African Soursop leaf tea, clean packaging, a wellness story, is a product built for 3 ready markets simultaneously. Health stores globally, the African diaspora in the UK, US and Canada, and the exploding African urban wellness consumers. The demand already exists. Your job is simply to show up with a box. Now we have gone past the halfway point, a point where many people cannot reach, which is why a lot of people may watch thousands of videos on how to make money and will never make. If you are here, I want you to comment, ready for the tea business, and let me know you've passed that point. Let's go to tea number 7, African mint. I want you to understand the full size of what sits behind this simple plant. Moroccan mint tea is one of the most iconic beverages in the world. Not just a drink, a cultural ceremony. Tourists pay premium prices to experience it in Marrakech. Hotels from Paris to Dubai serve it as a welcome drink. It is on menus on 6 continents. This entire cultural industry is powered by dried spearmint, a plant that grows across Morocco, Tunisia, Algeria and East Africa for close to nothing. Organic mint tea is consistently among the top-selling products in European specialty tea stores. Yet the spearmint fueling this global market is still sold almost entirely as unbranded raw material. A box of 20 tea bags labeled authentic Moroccan mint tea with Arabic-inspired design, an original story, and the words naturally caffeine-free retails for $7 to $14. The dry mint to fill that box costs under 20 cents. The story sells the tea, the culture commands the premium, the plant costs almost nothing. Let's go to tea number 8, Devil's Claw. This might be the most underrated opportunity on this entire list. Hapagophytum procumbens grows wild in the Kalahari Desert across Namibia, Botswana, Zimbabwe and South Africa. Traditional healers have used it for centuries to relieve joint pains, reduce inflammation, and support arthritis sufferers. Then scientists got involved. Peer-reviewed studies confirmed what traditional healers already know. Devil's claw works. The science is solid. Germany, France, and the United States began importing it as a raw medicinal herb. They've been doing so since the 1800s. Over 200 years of exporting this plant from the African soil. And in all that time, not one African entrepreneur has built a packaged consumer tea brand around it. Aging population in Europe and North America are the fastest growing consumer demographic on earth. They spend billions every year on natural joint health products. A branded African natural joint relief tea, backed by centuries of traditional use and modern scientific validation, is a product that every health food store in Germany, every natural pharmacy in France, and every wellness website in North America would stock. Let's go to tea number 9, Kinkeliba bush tea. If you've never heard of this tea, pay close attention, because what I'm about to tell you is one of the most important things in this entire video. Kinkeliba grows wild across Senegal, Mali, Guinea, Niger, and Burkina Faso. In Senegal, it is known as a long-life tea. Grandmothers across West Africa have been brewing it for centuries for liver health, digestion, and sustained energy. Right now in the global wellness market, there is an accelerating appetite for authentic traditional African herbal remedies. Health consumers in Europe and North America are tired of synthetic supplements. They want something real, something authentic, something with a story. Entrepreneurs in Senegal are already exporting small quantities. The first person to build a properly packaged, well-branded West African long-life tea at commercial scale owns this entire global category. Let's go to tea number 10, turmeric. In 2015, turmeric barely existed in the Western wellness market. By 2024, search turmeric tea on Amazon and you'll find thousands of products generating millions in sales every month. The golden milk trend, turmeric with ginger, cinnamon, and black pepper as a warm anti-inflammatory daily ritual, is one of the most powerful and sustained wellness trends of the last decades, and it is still climbing. Africa grows turmeric abundantly. Uganda, Tanzania, Nigeria, Ethiopia, Madagascar. It is everywhere, and yet almost none of it is being packaged into branded tea bags by African entrepreneurs. The raw turmeric leaves Africa every day, and the value is captured overseas. A well-branded African golden wellness tea, turmeric, ginger, black pepper, a touch of cinnamon, packaged in a modern box with an African original story, sells in every yoga studio, health food stores, and corporate wellness program in the world right now. The consumer is already educated. The trend already exists. You are not creating demand. You are meeting demand that already exists with ingredients that grow in your backyard. Now we are 2 left to end. If you've picked any tea that you're interested in, I want you to drop it in the comments. Let's know what you're going for. But before then, wait for the last 2. You may find something even better. Let's go to tea number 11, African wormwood, Artemisia afra. Artemisia afra is indigenous to Southern and East Africa, growing wild in South Africa, Zimbabwe, Kenya, and Ethiopia. Traditional healers have used it for respiratory health, flu relief, cough treatment, and immune support for over 1,000 years. It is one of the most thoroughly documented traditional medicines on the African continent. Then something happened in 2020 that changed the trajectory of this plant permanently. When the world was searching desperately for immune support, African Artemisia came to the attention of the global scientific community. Research institutions began studying it seriously. The plant that grandmothers had used quietly suddenly had peer-reviewed interest behind it. This plant sits at the intersection of 2 of the most powerful global wellness trends running simultaneously: African traditional medicine and immune health. Both are pulling consumer spending, and no brand has yet packaged them together into a mass-market African tea. Package it as ancient African immune tea with the Zulu heritage, the traditional knowledge, the modern research, and you have built a product that no Western brand can ever authentically replicate. The authenticity is yours. It belongs to Africa. It always has. Let's go to tea number 12, chamomile. I saved this one for the last deliberately because it has the most powerful proof of everything I've said today. Egyptian chamomile, grown in the fertile soil of the Nile Delta, is considered by premium tea buyers and industry judges globally to be the finest chamomile in the world. Not the most expensive to grow, not the most complex to process, simply the best. And yet, Egypt's chamomile market remains almost entirely raw bulk exports. The Nile Valley Organic Chamomile brand, which history and geography have essentially already written for you, does not yet exist at the commercial scale. Egypt has the fastest growing tea market in Africa, projected at 9.5% compound annual growth to 2030. Package it right, tell the Nile story, own the premium positioning, and you have a product that commands luxury pricing in every high-end retailer in Europe and the Gulf. Now you have seen all 12 teas, and maybe you are thinking, this sounds incredible, but where do I actually begin? Let me give you the honest practical answer. Here's how you start. First, start with one tea. Pick the herb that grows most abundantly in your region. Moringa if you're in East or West Africa. Hibiscus if you're in Nigeria or Senegal. Devil's claw if you're in Southern Africa. Chamomile if you're in Egypt. Step 2. Master the drying process. The quality of your tea depends almost entirely on how well you dry your herbs. Under-dried herbs will mold. Over-dried herbs will lose flavor and color. The next thing is to clean it. Low heat drying, either in controlled sunlight or with a basic food dryer costing under $200. The third step is to get a basic tea bag machine. A manual or semi-automatic tea bag sealing machine costs between $300 and $500. That is your entire production facility. That is the equivalent of Lipton's factory, scaled down to what one person can start with in one room this weekend. Step 4. Create your brand. This is where the value lives, not in the herbs, not even in the machine, in the name, the box, the story, the colors, the wellness message on the back panel. Your first brand does not need to be perfect. It needs to be honest, clean and specific. Pick a name that carries African identity proudly. Tell the origin story of the herb. Step 5. Sell locally first, then scale. Start with your local health store, your neighborhood, your WhatsApp network. Sell 10 boxes, then 50, then 200. Lipton started as a one-man with a tea blending idea in a warehouse in London in 1890. You have better ingredients than he ever had. You have better communication tools. And you have a global market that is actively searching for an authentic African wellness product right now. Here's the truth I want to leave you with today. Africa grows some of the most powerful, most beautiful, most health-giving plants on this earth.